So today, guys, this is going to be my first YouTube video, one of my many shorts, but I want to talk about today about my journey with God, to tell my story. I'm new to the Christian thing, to believe it in God. Just recently got into faith, accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, just this past, 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago. And I think it's important to tell my story. So I grew up in the church. My mom would tell me every Sunday to go to church, and they would give us a pamphlet, and they would tell us the stories about the Bible. Cain and Abel is one of them that I knew. Tower of Babel, where everybody speaks different languages and stuff like that. And many other things, right? So after that, with time, I went through a few things in my life where my dad was a severe alcoholic. My mom was a DV victim, and that made things really harsh for us. My mom was going through also a divorce with my dad at the time, right? And I would blame a lot of those things on God. I would be in the shower and I would just pray and I would say, please get me out of this situation, God. If you're really real, you are going to get me out of this situation, right? And I would challenge God. I would say, God, you're the reason this happened to me. You're the reason why I am in this pain. And after so many years, so many months of my mom's DV situation getting worse and worse and worse, and my dad's mental issues getting worse and worse and worse, I got farther and farther away from God. It was really bad. Eventually, that would lead me to some friends where I shouldn't have been friends with at the time, where they weren't religious really whatsoever. And they would not really push that, but just being around them would influence me on that. And I became an atheist. And for the longest time ever, I would be like, God doesn't exist. None of this is really real. Life sucks. And that was a really hard time for me. Especially being around those people where I would be like, yeah, well, this sucks in this situation. They'd be like, it's nothing. We're all going through the same shit, right? But just at the time, not the best friends. After a while, just like everybody else, right? I'd play video games, and my favorite video games at the time as a kid, I was a big Need for Speed player, right? And I would always choose the Lancer. The red Lancer. Always choosing the red Lancer. I'll probably put a clip of Need for Speed Underground with the red Lancer with the weird graphics on it. I'll put a video in here. But I would always choose that Lancer. And from every Need for Speed game on and forth, I would put in that Lancer in red. My dad also owned a Lancer too, a gray one. Anyways,
Welcome
big
to
gamer at the
Mitsubishi.
time, right? Hanging around with the wrong people, and eventually that led me to me meeting my wife. This is around middle school time. It was a little puppy love, and we were together for about maybe a week. She was into me, and she was like, oh yeah, hey, I like you, and I had rejected her, right? But a few days later, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So we started dating. After about a week or so, we stopped talking because I had to move to the US. Crying so many times in the shower, praying, telling God, oh yeah, get me out of this situation. I want to move to the US. Eventually it happened. And my mom said, we're leaving in about 2 to 3 days. Say goodbye to your friends. Before we leave, I see my dad one last time. I give him a big old hug. He's crying. He's in tears. I've never heard this man sob like the man did this day. Me still in my atheist emotion mindset, right? We move and we get to the US. Eventually my dad passes away shortly after. I never gave him a call, never texted him. Still hurts a little bit to this day, but we move on. Shortly, a few days after that, I lose my grandmother. My grandmother was my best friend to me. My grandmother always gave us a plate of food whenever we didn't have it at home. My grandmother was always the person that was there for us when nobody else was. After losing my grandparents, I lost connection and I had lost communication with my girlfriend at the time. And we had to go separate ways. We stopped dating. I felt like I was losing everything. And then, to make a long story short, I went through lots of hiccups, lots of relationships, lots of people that I wasn't supposed to hang out with. I started smoking, drinking, started smoking weed. Thank God I didn't do anything harder than that, you know? But I started really lusting after women too, relationship after relationship, meaningless relationship, right? Nothing was sticking, nothing was stable until eventually I would say, goodbye, everything. I'm going to look towards other things. And started getting into witchcraft, reading tarot cards, Started doing like spells and stuff like that that I believe that truly would make my life fulfilling, and nothing helped until eventually I decided to take a reset. I took everything that I had and I moved down to El Paso. Eventually, that would lead me back to my wife, and me and her, we got together. I took a flight and I said, I'm gonna go see her. The same girl that I was talking about before, and we got the conversation going. We rekindled our love and we got together. Probably post a few pictures on here or something. But after that, she eventually moves in with me in El Paso. I move out of the house that I have with my friend, right? We start living together. Everything is going great. We have our hiccups. We have our issues, right? And my wife at the time and now, she's super religious. And I'm still dealing with the whole atheism thing and the whole witchcraft thing. And eventually, all of our hiccups and problems get to me. And I say, hey, I don't think I can do this anymore. Too many issues, too many problems, and I just can't do it. And she says, if that's what you want to do, then fine by me. And here's where everything starts to get interesting. My girlfriend leaves me, and after our relationship is completely in shambles, it's gone, I get a call from my job, and my job tells me, hey, we're getting rid of you. You're not doing what we need you to do, so you gotta go. Take my car, my beater car that I have at the time, it's a Ford Fusion, take it all the way over there, drop off my uniform and say, this is all you got? This is all we got. So at the time, one of my other friends says, I'm thinking about joining the military. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, sure, why not? So I go, sign some paperwork, and then I think the only thing I had to do was go to MEPS. So I get home after that situation, and I sit down. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to afford rent? How am I going to afford this car? What am I going to do, right? Something in me, or God tells me, get rid of it. And I'm asking, get rid of what? And it says, get rid of it and pray. So I get up and I have a little altar where I keep all my witchcraft stuff, all my tarot cards, all my pendulums and all that, right? And I go and I take everything, put it in a big black trash bag, and I just throw it in the dumpster. And he tells me, pray. So I'm on my knees. I go to my room and I'm on my knees crying. And I say, God, I accept you. Jesus Christ, I accept you as my Lord and Savior. Get me out of this situation, please, God. Shortly after that, about a day, not even, maybe about a few hours later, I get a call. And I was just waiting for a call at the time from the military to tell me when I was supposed to leave. And I get a call, and my recruiter tells me, you leave in about a week. Just 10 seconds ago, I was just thinking, oh, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to make this month's rent. I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't pay rent this month. And I don't know where all my stuff is going to go. At this point, I have about an apartment size, like it's small. I have no clue what I'm going to do with everything. And the only place that I have to keep things is my friend's garage. So I take everything and I put it out. TVs. I think for the most part, I just kept this that you see back here because this is the most important stuff to me at the time, is my gaming consoles and stuff, right? I take everything and I push it outside. And I'm like, I'm getting rid of all this. Whatever you want, come get it. It's free. Because I didn't have time to sell all this stuff. About a week, 5 days passes by, right? And they call me again, and I'm worried about rent. I'm worried about debt and stuff like that. And at this point, my apartment is empty other than my bed in my room. I have gotten rid of most things. Some sold, some of it, but most of it gifted. I have the motorcycle, the car, and a mattress literally in my room, and that's all I have. Eventually, I just trash the mattress, and then I start staying at a friend's house for literally the last few days. And then I get a call, and he says, come in, we need to talk about something. So I go in, and he says, not only are you going to leave this next week, but I have a bonus for you. Go ahead, sign the piece of paper. The day of shipping out, I had gotten rid of most things. The only things that I had in box were my gaming stuff, a few hampers worth of clothes, and that's it. Right before the military, I was like, let me contact my ex-girlfriend at the time and try to fix things. Get in contact with her, and we eventually fixed things. tell her that I'm involved in church. I'm trying to go to church every Sunday as I should. And I start going to this church. And the church, I forgot the name off the top of my head, but it was a church in El Paso, because I had moved to El Paso, Texas. That church, actually, when I was riding my bike throughout the years that I was in El Paso, I used to pass it all the time on my way to work. So I would always look at it and always be like, I should probably go to church. And I would keep on passing by it every single time. And I would look and I was like, I should stop there. And one of those days I decided one Sunday morning that I would stop and actually start going to that church, and I did. The church actually is Destiny Church, and I would pass by them all the time, and I was like, I should probably stop there. And one of those days I actually stopped, and I just kept on going there every Sunday. So yeah, some little context. Really great church. So if you guys are in El Paso, you guys do want to attend a really awesome church, I recommend them. Super sweet, super great community. Love them. But yeah. And the first day that I go there, I'm telling her, like, the first day I go there after being atheist for so many years, after my experience about 3 weeks out from me shipping out, I cry. The person that's preaching makes it known that, hey, like, it's okay. If you're here, it's your first time, or if you've been drawn away from God and you're just coming back, it's okay. We're glad we're here. And I'm glad you got here. The pastor comes over and he shakes my hand. He says, thank you for coming. And I felt so much better. Tell the girlfriend I'm going to church. And we fix things. Sell everything. I sell my car, sell the motorcycle, and then I ship out. After I ship out, going through boot camp and everything, eventually I graduate boot camp and I see my girlfriend again. After boot camp, she shows up to my graduation. Takes a whole plane by herself to 3 different places from Puerto Rico and came all the way to see me. And we get married. We eventually moved to our little apartment, and with my bonus, I paid down all my debt. And the only thing I can really say after that, every day after work, I would drive home and I would say, thank you, God. And every day I try to be a better version of myself by being nice to people. I'll see people like out on the road, like struggling, and I'll be like, hey, like, you good? Like, give money to people whenever I can. I'll really give myself to people whenever I can, and give myself to my wife whenever I can. So that eventually leads to today, where I'm stressed out. I need to leave here, and I've been praying lots. And I say, hey, I need to leave here soon to go somewhere else. And I need your help on finding something that is nice for us. And I'm praying about it. And every time I get out of school, because I'm in school right now in the military, I pray about it. And I'm on my way home from school, and I'm like, God, please just thank you for everything that you're doing. Take care of me, take care of my wife, take care of her family and my family, and keep our health in check. And that's all I ask. Every day after school, walking back, I would pray. After praying, I get home, and usually everything is okay, everything is great. So every time I have an issue, I pray. Sometimes where I don't even have an issue, I pray. Versus how I was just like I told you guys about a few minutes ago, where I wasn't praying. I was blaming God. I was saying, oh, God, you're the problem. Or, God, if this is your doing, why would you let me suffer? After some time, like I said before, we have to move and stuff like that. I sit down and I say, God, I'm going through this issue, and we really need a car to get out of here. And if you allow it, show me what you want me to do. So I'm car shopping, and I sell the car that I have for about $3,000 for a down payment on a vehicle. Recently, we just looked at a RAV4, and the RAV4 was a little out of price, and they wouldn't budge on it. They refused to budge on it. They wanted us to jump through hoops. They made us go to an auction car lot to go look at it, and they couldn't bring it over because it's in the auction car lot. And I thought it was just a lot of hoops for us looking for a vehicle. After that, my next vehicle we were supposed to see was another RAV4. The RAV4 that we went to see, looking at Carfax, it had been in like 7 accidents, I think in like 1 year, and 1 owner. I was convinced that the owner was blind. Look at another car. Same thing. Carfax is absolutely destroyed. It had like 37 owners, 3 accidents, and whatever. Next one I see is a rally yard. Just because I went to go see a rally yard. And the mileage was really high. It was like 178,000 miles, and it had been modified. Like crazy modified. Blowout valve, random AEM like meters and stuff like that on the side. I'll probably post a picture on here so you can see it. Just a bunch of modifications. The car had clearly been beat, and I didn't feel safe in it, and the wife didn't feel safe in it. So I passed on it. But I wanted to drive the car and see how it was. And I waited for a bit. Until eventually I was scrolling through Car Gurus and I see a listing for an EVO. Remember what I said before and earlier in the video? I get to the place and then I see the listing price, which I'll probably post the listing right here if I can find it. I post the listing price, and the listing price is about 20 grand. I'm like, okay, that's within the budget. Why not? We'll go see it. We go see it, and I turn it on, and I look underneath of everything, and everything is pristine. Hasn't been touched. Under the hood, it's stock. No blowout valves, nothing crazy, nothing. Like literally nothing has been done to this vehicle whatsoever. 97,000 miles, 90,000 miles. I'm like, low mileage too? That's weird. It has to be something wrong. I beat on it a little bit during my test drive, and it's perfect. It's pristine. No slips. No weird transmission issues, no weird motor issues, nothing. This thing is perfect. And then at this point, I'm just looking for things because I'm genuinely not convinced that this is happening right now. So I asked the lady at the front, and I'm like, hey, can I see the Carfax of this car? They show me the Carfax, and I look at it, right? Look through the thing. And the thing has one owner that drove it 5,000 miles, I think 5,000 miles per year. For a 2008 vehicle. As I'm looking at these things, I'm convinced that this is too good to be true. I tell her, give me a bit, I'm going to my bank, and then I'm going to check if they'll give me money for this car. So I go to my bank, and I ask them, like, hey, can I get a loan for this? And they say, yeah, sure. I get accepted, and bring the check over. So I look over it one more time, everything is good, everything is great, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna pull the trigger, and I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. When I say this, God is real. God has helped me through multiple things. Through patches of my life where I thought that things, situations, issues, DV, divorces, the death of people that I really loved in life, God will get you through everything. As long as you put your faith in Him, as long as you fully trust in Him, as long as you pray, as long as you steer away from the bad things, you steer away from smoking, drinking, all these earthly things, things of the flesh, He will help you through everything. And thanks to countless prayer, and thanks to my wife, thanks to my brother that has told me multiple times, even through my darkest times in my life, where he would say, hey, you need to lock in with God. That thing that you're going through isn't from God. Don't blame Him for the things that you're going through. It's from people here. It's not Him. And I would be like, no, that's not true. Because I was stuck in my own ways. I was stuck in my own head. So if you see this video on Instagram or whatever, this is your sign to lock in with God. As of today, I own my dream car thanks to Him. As of today, I have a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, the cutest dog in the world, food in my stomach, clothing on my back, a nice job, thanks to God. Goodbye, and God bless you guys.